So I got an email from this PR company. They were like, "Hey, we've got a bunch of games. Are you free at any of these times?" And I was like, "Well, I think I replied quite late, so there was only one available. Codename Biscuits. It was. I was like, okay, this is interesting. Signed up for it. I was like, yep, cool, that'll be great. I'll see what it is. It might be interesting. And yeah, they just said, oh, it's a game by these two developers. And I Googled them and I couldn't find them. I think there was a couple of things on like itch or itch.io. And it turned out to be the game that was revealed at opening night live that I lost my shit about. Thank goodness you're here, which is a cartoony looking kind of comedy Yorkshire game. And it is a fully Yorkshire game. The two people are friends that met. They're both from Barnsley in South Yorkshire.
Where you were born.
Which is where I was born. So I was like, when they appeared and I started speaking to one, because I knew it was the same public, well, after seeing it in Opening Night Live, I knew it was the same PR company. And I was like, that guy's got a Yorkshire accent. I wonder. So I said to him, I said,
are you from Yorkshire?
No.
No?
Okay. And so I was like, oh, what game is it? And he was like, oh, it's Thank Goodness You're Here. And I was like, you're joking.
You're joking.
Don't need to do it every single time. Jesus. Bloody Cockney over here. Yeah.
I just like taking the piss out of you.
Yeah, no, but yeah, thank goodness you're here. I got to play.
You're welcome.
Oh, God. So you're just ruining this. Yeah, you can.
Well.
You can.
Sorry, I'll shut up.
I
now.
actually did make notes to this because I wanted to write a lot. I wanted to talk about it because I was just kind of amazed that I was getting to play this. Of all the games to be like that, to have a random game pop up was the one I was like, yeah, the most excited for after Opening Night Live. But yeah, so Opening Night Live, you play as a little character who I believe has gone to a town. I'm not sure exactly the backstory of it because it was it had started halfway through the game, this short demo. And it's kind of like a cute but funny, mildly offensive adventure game of sorts that's
mildly offensive.
Well, so we'll go on to that part. So your character, you play as this little, very, very small cartoon dude who can only punch and jump. That's the only thing you can do. You punch and you jump, and you can pretty much punch anything. You can jump on anything that is the right level, obviously. But yeah, you can even like punch people, and they just have like a little quip and stuff like that. But it is set in Barnsley, and apparently the Barnsley High Street, or the old Barnsley Market, is the setting for the main area.
Great.
In there, which was brilliant. This is their first game together. Really, really nice guys. And yeah, apparently there's a famous comedian that's voicing one of the parts in there that was rather interesting.
Is it Peter Kay?
It's not. It's a comedian.
Oh.
Yeah, but she was great. But there's just like lots of Yorkshire references. There are so many things that people won't get, which I'm intrigued to see. Like they bring up Ginnell. Now, to those of you who, the vast majority, I'd be surprised if anybody in like watching this knows. A Ginnell is a small alleyway between two houses, a passageway. What do you call them?
An alleyway?
An alleyway. Oh, that sounds American. A Ginnell. A Ginnell is like just between the houses. It's maybe a little dirt track sometimes. You know, that's a Ginnell.
Okay, sure.
But yeah, so there's like lots and lots of Yorkshire phrases and expressions. And I did ask them, I'm like, are you going to be translating this to other languages? Like, how do you solve that? And they said, well, obviously it's not just the words that you translate. They have to actually write what they mean by that phrase. So if they go, bayek, like that, it's like an exclamation of, you're quite surprised, or, you may be a little bit, exasperated. So they have to explain, which I thought was quite interesting, especially when a game has got so much colloquial language as this does. It was, so you solve people's problems, you go around. There is a main story to it, and for the main mission, I believe, that I had to do was go and help the pie shop make pies, and because they didn't have any meat, and they didn't have any pie mix, so I had to go around and I had to go and help that, and there was yeah, there was like one. Yeah, the characters interacting with each other, but there are also like little mini side stuff. And I don't know if you have to do those mini side stuff to kind of make the main story go along, or if they're just kind of there for you to do. Like there was one I went into the fishmongers, and I needed to make the fish look presentable, or the fish heads.
The fish heads.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so I punched them, because that's all I can do, really.
Yeah.
Punched all the fish heads so that they all had cigarettes sticking out of their mouths, which appeals to the Barnsley locals, apparently.
Of
I
course.
can say that because I'm from Barnsley.
Yeah.
But it was like, so the art style is very kind of 2D comic book style, very quite basic, but easy to kind of see. But the problem I had slightly, and I got lost quite a few times, was there's nothing that's like really obvious about where you're meant to be going, because every little bit is detailed. Every bit is that there's no kind of real focus on certain areas that you're meant to be going.
Mm-hmm.
So something in the corner, there might be a box of, toys that's got stuff written on it or whatever. That is in exactly the same focus and has exactly the same detail as the thing that you're walking on, or you need to interact with. So I got a little bit lost, but I mean, that's part of, you're just wandering around and you're punching things and you want to go and see what reactions they make. I mean, it's a game to be played with friends. And I did ask that, and I was like, how long is this game? And they said, a couple of sessions, 5 or 6 hours, a couple of sessions with your friends. And that's what they do. They want the game to be, they said that they wanted the game to be something that you play with a bunch of you around and all watching. And the person that's got the controller, they just got the controller. But like, it's the shared experience, especially if you are intrigued by Northerners, or maybe there is a Northern friend in your friend group who can be like, oh my God, look at, they can explain things to you. I love that Panic Games have given them the opportunity to release this, because it's something that's just so Barnsley and
well, it's
unique.
a very specific niche that you just don't really see in games. I think as well, the thing to remember with all these previews is that it's an early build of the game. It's not the final thing. So
it ran very smoothly. I got to say, I didn't have any. One thing they did say, they were looking at ways to make it a bit clearer what you have to do. And I think that's why they didn't say anything when I was getting lost.
Exactly, because as much as you're there to see the game, they're there to see your reaction. And then that gives them feedback that they can tweak. So that is a reason why a lot of these games get shown in. That's the point of previews as well. It's, it goes both ways. Yeah.
And all the, it's all voiced. It's not, there's no text speech.
Well, that's very authentic,
which I do like. It's all, I don't know how, it'd be interesting to see if all the voices are actually Yorkshire, or if there's someone putting it on. Yorkshire voice, Yorkshire roles for Yorkshire people.
Of course.
And it's all fully developed and written by those two guys. And I asked them if the dialogue was kind of scripted and stuff, and they said it is, but there was also some like improvisation in the voice. But yeah, the humor, I thought the humor was interesting. I loved it. I do wonder if some people might be like, ooh, this is a bit
dark.
Well, dark humor, and a bit, I mean, there's like cigarettes in fish. I don't know if this would translate well in all other countries. But like I said, I thought it was hilarious. Like, there's one bit where you go into the pie shop, and apparently on the boxes, the message on the boxes is recycled, like it changes. So everybody's game is going to be different, what it says. And I can't remember which relative it was, but it was like the name of a relative, and in brackets, ashes, which I thought was quite funny. But yeah, just like some of the humor, and lots of like, they wanted to have like the proper experience of what you'd hear, like overhearing in Barnsley.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously to a comedic degree.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't believe you're coming out. Like that kind of voice. Where it's like, oh, Margaret, I can't believe you've brought your second bag, and we always should. This kind of voice. But
that sounds pretty normal to me.
How dare you? I mean, that's me putting it on and making it.
Was that put on?
How dare you? Over the top. And that's what the voices are like in there. So it's like it's not authentic. It's kind of over the top.
Yeah.
But the game is purely is over the top completely. I mean, the pie thing. I was actually went inside the oven, and then the pie thing blew up, and then the shop became a giant pie. It's you have to experience it. You have to experience it. But yeah, just see if there's anything. Oh yeah, I had to go down a well to unclog some water, but it wasn't clear that I needed to kind of Wario Land 2 style kind of. You had to kind of punch through the side of the wall, but it was a bit higher than the ground. So it was the equivalent, like that area that I got to was where I needed to get to, but in any other game it would have been like a secret area because you had to kind of time a jump and then punch. You had to like punch a wall quite high up. So that bit was a bit confusing to me, and I wonder if they could put like a little worm or even like some crumbly bits coming out of it, so you know that wall is then breakable.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't quite sure. But yeah, slapping fish with cigarettes in their mouths, pie blowing up. There was a girl with braces who was voiced by this comedian, and then the person from the pie produce who would come by, and they were all like really, really, kind of embarrassingly flirting. Have you ever seen Open All Hours?
Yes.
I think this might be that. I think this was definitely referenced, which is set in Doncaster, which is also South Yorkshire, very close to Barnsley. They're very big rivals. But there was so David Jason played. There was Arkwright and oh my god, what was his?
I can't remember the character's name. I can see them.
It was like I can't remember. But anyway, it was like he fancies a woman that comes into the shop, and they're just like completely like they don't really know how to interact with each other because they're kind of just nerdy little socially awkward people. One works in a pie shop, the other one does some pie produce, and they're like, oh, and they've all got these giant braces, and it's just it's comedy. It's cartoon comedy, but with a little dark twist to it.
Open all hours is the classic four candles joke, right?
No, that's Monty Python. No, it's not. It's not Four Candles. That is it's not that one.
Isn't it?
No, Four Candles, because it's London, isn't it?
It's like, do you want 4 candles or 4 candles?
Yeah, no, it's the 2 Ronnies, that, isn't it? I think it's just two Ronnies. Yeah, it's just 2 Ronnies.
Oh, that is
because that's London as well. 4 Candles. Whereas Open All Hours is Northern.
That's true.
Open All Hours is brilliant. It's just such brilliant humor. And even the remake was quite good. But anyway, I just written, the last thing I wrote was like, it's a hilarious love letter to Barnsley and its people. And I hope a lot of people play it and enjoy it. I hope it's a good game, first of all.
Yeah.
But I hope that, it comes on, it's really well received and puts Barnsley back on the map, because we're not going to be doing that with our football.
Well,
unfortunately.
There you go.
So yeah, did you have any questions?
No, like I saw the trailer opening up live, as we all did for the first time, and immediately thought of you, and thought this game, like you say, is a love letter to, I guess Yorkshire. I didn't know it was Barnsley specifically.
Oh yeah, there's even like Barnes. It was like Barneswick or Barn. No, it's not Barneswick, but it's like the name of the football. There's like a football scarf, and it's red, and it says something like Barnsdale, which is obviously Barnsley.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're both from Barnsley.
But it definitely, even just from the trailer, gave me that like classic British cartoon humor, giving it sort of the Beano kind of vibe.
100%,
all that kind of stuff. So if you like British humor, it seems very much in that style.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope it plays as well as it sounds like it's funny.
Yeah, the actual, like, what do you mean? Like the humor comes over as funny as it is?
As in like, it seems like it's a really humorous game. Like it's going to have a really good script, funny voice acting.
Yeah.
So I just hope that the gameplay can live up to that.
Yeah, I don't think the game is there for its gameplay. Like it's just jumping and punching and running around. And like you can punch a person in the street and they'll just go, oh, I was like, oh, can't believe you. How are you doing? Are you out here all on your own? That kind of, they won't. It's just like you do that to get the humorous comments from people. It feels narrative, but with some little puzzles that you have to kind of go and do. So it's just an experience. It's the Barnsley experience
in a video game.
And I cannot wait to play more of it and see more of it.
Required viewing for me.
Yes, that and Kez.
I've seen Kez.
Have you seen it with subtitles?
Kez.
Yeah.
I watched that back at school.
See, I watched it, and I didn't really understand what they were saying most of the time. Yeah, Casper, come here. Get off the goalpost.
It's a boy who's bullied and he befriends a kestrel. What's not to get about it?
Okay, fine. Sure. No, I mean, the voices, like the accents are very, very strong, even for me to understand.
Yeah.
Anyway, my opinion of Thank Goodness You're Here is it's rate grand. And you have to thank me as well for your for help with your subheading
The
for your
spelling
game.
rate.
Rate. It's all right. Let's see if it's
Sure.
better than all right.
I'm sure it will be.
It will be.